All right. So, good morning, everyone. Warm greetings from Manila, Philippines, and thank you all for joining our LaSalle Sustainability Lecture for today. We have a great topic for this lecture series. By the way, I'm Dr. Ari Sobando. I'm the Assistant Dean for Research and Advanced Studies of the Gokong Wei College of Engineering of De La Salle University, Manila, Philippines. For today, we would have a topic entitled Effects of Brick Kilns in the Urban Area of León, GPO, towards the construction of a Lasallian environmental network. And before we go to the meat of our lecture for today, we would have the Vice President for Research and Innovation of De La Salle University to give a brief background of the La Salle Sustainability Lecture Series. But before that, let's have a brief prayer.
Let me be the change I want to see, to do with strength all that needs to be done, and become the whole that I can be. Set me free from my fears and hesitation. Grant me courage and humility. Fill me with spirit to face the challenge and start the change I long to see. Today I start the change I want to see. Even if I'm not the light, I can be the spark in faith, service, and communion. Let us start the change we want to see, the change that begins in me. Today I start the change I want to see.
Even if I'm not the light,
Not the light, I can be the spark. Service and communion. Let us start the change we want to see, the change that begins in me.
Jesus in us.
Jesus in
Thank you for that. Before we proceed, I would like to acknowledge the presence of our Chancellor Emeritus, Professor Carmelita Quebenco, from De La Salle University, Manila, Philippines. And to provide us with an introduction of the La Salle Sustainability Lecture Series, let's all welcome Dr. Raymond Tan, the Vice President for Research and Innovation of De La Salle University.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to this month's edition of the Sustainability Lecture Series. This lecture series is a joint initiative of the International Association of La Salle Universities or IALU, and De La Salle University. The series was launched in January 2021 to provide a platform to share sustainability-related initiatives done by different resource persons and teams in the different institutions that make up the global IALU network. Nearly 4 years on, this lecture series is still going strong. And the initial team, consisting of Professor Dr. Kathleen Aviso, the current Dean of the Gokongwei College of Engineering, Professor Dr. Alvin Colaba, the Director of the Center for Engineering and Sustainable Development Research, Chancellor Emeritus Dr. Carmelita Quebenco, and myself, has since grown, and part of the team now includes Professor Dr. Aris Ubando of the Gokongwei College of Engineering, our former PhD student and faculty member at the University of the Philippines, Los Baños, Dr. Maria Victoria Migo Sumagang, and the entire team of the University Sustainability Office of the LSU, led by Executive Director Antonio Nonoy Maralit. This lecture series is envisioned to continue to provide a platform for our joint work, inspired partly by St. Francis's Laudato Si encyclical in 2015, coupled with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Understanding our joint stake in the future and the challenges that face sustainable development, it is incumbent upon the global LaSallian community to share our knowledge and expertise and help drive green growth, not just within the LaSallian community, but for the entire planet as well. Thank you, and I hope you find today's lecture to be very stimulating. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Raymond Tan, for that introduction. It is my honor to introduce our speaker for today. Our speaker is Dr. Andres Cruz Hernandez from the Universidad La Salle, Bajo, Mexico. And the title of his presentation is Effects of Brick Kilns in the Urban Area of León, GPO, towards the construction of LaSallian Environmental Network. Our speaker has finished his Master's of Science and also Doctor of Science with the specialty in plant biotechnology in Sinvestav, Irapuato, in 1993 and 1998, respectively. He also finished his postdoctoral degree in the University of Queensland, Australia, back in 1999. Dr. Hernandez is also a national researcher from the National Research System, Mexico, Level 1, from 2021 to 2024. He has published 100 publications and has mentored 36 graduate students from bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees. He received 2 national awards for mentoring his bachelor students, and he is a guest reviewer of articles in an international journal. Also a member of the editorial board of the Industrial Crops and Products Journal, and have evaluated projects from Mexican and Latin America agencies. He has served as a president of the Biomics Network, also a member of the Ethics in Research Committee at the Universidad La Salle, Bajo. He is a full-time research professor at the School of Agronomy at the La Salle, Bajo. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome our speaker for today, Dr. Andres Cruz Hernandez.
Thank you very much. I'm going to try to share. Please let me know it is now.
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. Thank you very much for your kind introduction. Thank you for the invitation to talk to you and trying to get these kind of talks relating to the environment. I think we must to share information and try to do the best for a better world. We are in this way. Then I'm gonna talk to you about one of the areas that we are working right now with the society, and something that is becoming some kind of problem in industrial cities, in order that maybe we can find something together to alleviate. First thing that I want to tell you is that I spent some time in Philippines. I was part of a millionaire project that the Australian Center for International Agriculture was financing between the University of Queensland and the University of Philippines in Los Baños. The program was focusing mainly in biotechnology in order to develop some crops that could have the control of the ripening in order to have much better markets. It happens back in 1999. I have the chance to get in Los Baños and to know several things about the culture. That was some things we shared about you with you, sorry. And I was very, very, very pleasant to be there. I hope someday we can come back. Okay. What the people know about Mexico? I think people know about Mexico is mainly soccer. We are going to hold the next World Cup in 2 years. People know about the mariachis, but maybe people has to know that we are a national culture that used to work a lot in science. And we developed the first systems for the agriculture on the sea. We developed mathematics and even astronomy. And now we have a population of young people that it will be promised to make us a better country. Mexico, it has a population of more or less 130 million people. Mainly religion is Catholicism. The capital is Mexico City. The currency is Mexican peso, and the language here is Spanish. There is no English, it's mainly Spanish. Not too many people speak English, or sure, some for business has to. And maybe Mexico is identified all around the world, mainly because the anti-constructions, like the cities Teotihuacan, Chichen Itza, Tulum. The University of La Salle at Bajío is located mainly in the center of the country. Here is in the left the country. Just for don't get confused that because people say North American, they believe that we are in USA. USA is so far from Mexico. We are right in the center, as shown in the other map, and we are very interesting people all around. We participate with a huge percentage of the gross income, 15%. We are almost, we contain 15% of the national population, and we produce 30% of the food that is for all the country, mainly for plant growth. And we are the second important area for food production. The city of León, Guanajuato, that is almost right here, is a very important and industrial city for the state. This is Guanajuato. The city of León, Guanajuato, now we are almost 1,800,000 population. And originally the settlement of the city developed oriented to leather industry, footwear, and leather goods. I want that you can remember this because it's part of the topic that we are going to talk. We are oriented into medical and educational services, business, tourism, and even automotive industry. This is a very important industrial city in all the country. We have access by roads, very nice ones, and we have an international airport. As we say, allá en mi León, Guanajuato, la vida no vale nada. In translation, that means in León, Guanajuato, the life has no any value. Then we are located in the north of the city. This is the Universidad La Salle Bajío, and this is the School of Agronomy. The School of Agronomy, as you see, very nice place. We are right in the last floor, and it's very different that maybe you have in Manila. Here we are in the top in the mountain, and actually we have a very nice soccer court. Actually, we are the third place in the normal tournament here in the university, and we have several facilities that includes not just laboratories. We have a unit for conservation of endangered species, and we have two other facilities out from the university. We call these cadets. You can understand like a ranchos or something for training in the field. One is with a very nice greenhouses for exportation. The other one is outside agriculture. And some of the important thing is that we try that the students can be involved in social programs. This is how we are going to some schools and try to put some kind of gardens, agricultural gardens, in order agroecological garden, in order that people can, the students, high school or something, can understand something related to all these ecological applications. With this in mind, thinking about the social activities is how we are going to start the story. Well, the project that we are going to talk starts when we were very happy doing some kind of experiments here in the university. Two very good friends right now came to the university asking for some help. The problem that they found was that they used to live very, very close to the brick kilns. We are going to call brick kilns ladrilleras. That means factories for the production of bricks, red bricks particularly, because it has some specific characteristics. Eduardo, it is a neighbor, and now very active person in order to change a little bit for a best environment. Y Rafael Lara, Rafa, used to be a brick producer that is very conscious about some of the problems that this industry could be provoking about the environment. Then they come to the Escuela de Agronomía and talk about that there was a problem with the pollution produced by this industry. They found that several of the problems that they were looking for were the several diseases start to appearing in the population inside the area where are these ladrilleras and around of them. Some diseases including maybe, we are not very sure about that, some kind of mutation that could develop some chronic diseases. And then we start talking and we start trying to attend some of the problems. And we start trying to find how was the situation of this kind of industry of the bricks production. As you see, this is the last accounts about the national brick production in Mexico. And this is from 2022. Basically, as you see, the main producers in the bricks are Puebla, that is more or less 500 kilometers from Guanajuato. The other one was Jalisco, is one of the states very near, it's a neighbor, and the other one is Michoacan, and the fourth one is Guanajuato. Right now, the problem with this kind of pollution, in the past, the people used to believe that the main production in the cities was from the capital, Mexico City. But right now, the report of the last year, the main contaminated area is the area that we call it Bajío, that includes Querétaro, Guanajuato, and some of these states as Jalisco, Michoacán, and maybe San Luis Potosí. When we checking about the numbers of producing these bricks, we found that they were in a census or an account that we were doing more than almost 3,000 factories related to the brick production. That is very huge in an area then in no more than 400 kilometers. In the state of Guanajuato, the main population that is producing is called Abasolo, and the second one is León, Guanajuato. Mainly because León, Guanajuato is the biggest city in number of inhabitants. We have almost 2 million people, and a lot of construction is coming because the people used to have some place to live. Then when you check the industry or brick industry in León, Guanajuato, we can find that there were more than 400 brick kilns in around 200 kilometers around. That's a lot. Actually, we identified at least 3 big areas for the disposition of these brick kilns. That is considered a protected craft industry that didn't give it to the people that used to work with this some kind of protection because it's considered a craft. And the other problem was that with this protection, they were expanding in some other places all around. Although I tell you that there were 3 identified areas, we know in extra information that there were more than 5 different areas. Let me show you a little bit these pictures because they are clear. These brick kilns consist mainly with a base, as you see in the lower part. Here is the base, and it has 2 or 3 big holes. Well, is all is going to be the foil, and they have to burn several materials. The original law used fresh wood with no treatment for any industrial material, and all that you see in the top, this is the material that you are going to cook. All these materials are doing with some kind of a specific sand, with some specific materials. And then sometimes one of the problems is that this specific sand is coming from the around mountains here. Then they start to taking the materials, the sand and the wood, and they are provoking some other things. Then they have to be cooked, the material fresh have to be cooked for at least 14 to 18 hours. And the temperature that is going inside, they supposed to reach more than 100 degrees centigrade. Then the problem with the use of this material was that starts the deforestation of the mountains around here. One is called Sierra de Lobos. And when they finish, because we stop they take all this material, we start burning several other materials. I told you already that you have to remember that one of the main industry here was another craft industry that is related to the leather, even for the production of shoes or some of the material. This kind of industry that is called the tannery, they used to clean the skins from the animals, whatever that is, using heavy metals and using some solution with a salt. Then they produce, when they are doing the reaction, one of the with the products is these are the chromators. Then they supposed to pay to take out this material, this chromate, to burn it in a special big ovens in the industry. This costs a lot for the people. We are talking about 60,000 pesos. That means mainly $33,000, something like that. And they don't want to pay that. Then they give these materials to the people at the ladrilleras. Then they used to burn with all the other materials that you see. All this going out from the air to the soil and the water. And then now the city is not just having small particles from other things, but also is having contamination with these heavy metals, mainly chromates and some other ones. And no students has been established to evaluate how is the impact in the economy, in the environment, in the animals, in the plants, anywhere. And actually, the municipality or the government is trying to deny that there exists some kind of contamination, even in that is obvious. Yeah. Then the people start the organization. We were talking with the people, trying to find how was the way that they were living and what kind of actions they were taking to avoid this kind of contamination. They create an area specific, a green area. They plant in 1,200 native trees in order that trying to make some kind of, alleviate a little bit the contamination. But this area was very, very, very attractive for the construction companies, and they were killing and they were fighting all these native trees. In the next picture, you're going to see how was the evolution of this area that was a donation area, we call, when they start putting the trees. And this is the evolution, and this is in the last one in the law, how looks right now the maintenance. To now, the municipality accept that it was very important to have this kind of area for the cleaning of the contamination, alleviate a little bit, and is under the protection right now. It's a protected area, and we saved it. It was saved from the companies. Then we were trying to get together and talk with the brick workers in order that they can talk about what are the needs that they need, that they have to take for a better work and even to avoid all this kind of contamination. One of the things was to develop new materials as fuels, and because they was very, very difficult to have these very clean trees. The other one was related with the integration of the association, like groups of these brick workers, because right now they don't have any social advantage, any kind of social security or something like that. The other one is related with the analysis and diagnosis of these diseases that appear, because they were talking about several very, very strange things that were happening over there. With this in mind, we were trying to develop a special and specific project that can absorb all these ideas. We developed this kind of project in two different stages. One was related with the diagnosis and monitoring, and that includes diagnosis of the soil, water, and air contamination, mainly related to the particles or even heavy metals. Identify plants and microorganisms and biomarkers about the state of the pollution or the polluted place. A health diagnostic on the population that lives in the area surrounding the ladrilleras. And diagnosis must include animals that could help us to have an idea about how will be the development and even the control of these kind of problems. The second stage must be related to remediation of the problem. One is to develop a strategy for environmental monitoring as a precautionary measure for conservation of the environmental. Some of the municipality have some spots for to doing the environmental monitoring. However, those spots are very far from the real places where this pollution is happening. Development on a brick industry with more efficient and environmental friendly technologies that could help to doing the same work with less effect in the environment. And the other one trying to find plants, which was our specialty, with can participate in a program with solar bioremediation, and that could serve to incorporate some other activities related or some alternative activities. Because one of the problems that we found in a social point of view was the new owners of these brick factories. They used to have a past with the father, the grandpa, and the grandpa, which were doing the same thing. Then we found, or we believe that we must to change a little bit this kind of, or change in order that we can start doing a better work. Then we went to the area. This is a picture from the top that we were establishing the points for the sampling in the area of Bosque. We decided to include both of the ecosystems because it was a very nice comparison, because for one side we can see if the bosque or the forest was developing a very nice and attractive characteristics that could help to alleviate the contamination. And the other one, the comparison with the area of the ladrillera. We can see the points of the sampling in the forest or the bosque, and this is the points of the sampling at the ladrilleras. In one area located in the north of the municipality that was called El Valladito. El Valladito used to be called one place that used to collect water for the irrigation for some different activities. Right now, El Valladito is not having water anymore, but is the place for the settlement of these ladrilleras. We were doing the methodology in order to measure some physicochemical parameters like salt texture, organic matter, pH, cationic exchange capacity, soil carbonates, and inorganic nitrogen. And we were doing this de acuerdo or in agreement with the Norma Oficial Mexicana. Then here is all the methods, and I want to present some of the things that we found. First, we're going to see how was the physicochemical characteristics of a bosque or forest soil. As you see, the texture was coarse, was clay, was dark the color, but some of the specific characteristics were the pH was almost neutral, and the electric conductivity was more or less normal. The organic matter was low, the total nitrogen was low, and the carbonates was in a medium value. Now you see the brick kilns, and it seems to be very different. It was soft and the long dark brown, but important is the pH was alkaline. It changed a little bit or a little more, and the electric conductivity was very high too. The organic matter was lower. The total nitrogen was very low, and the carbonates was medium. It was also two, and was included or was tell us about the condition of the soil around. We find that the coefficient for microbial respiration was very contrasting. In blue one, you can see the soil of the ladrillera, and in the orange was the bosque, and was a huge difference, almost half of the value. In the ladrillera, it was higher. It talked about the condition that was very different, and maybe it has some of the material that was deposited in the ladrillera that makes the microbial population in some different kind of metabolism. Then one of the first things that we were, or first question that we were in the head was how was the composition about the heavy metals? Here you see in this graph, in this table, the limits that we're using for quantification that were more or less allowed in the soil in any ecosystem. You see here right now the comparison in these graphics about how is the condition of the soil in the left side in the bosque or against the soil in the ladrilleras. As you see very clearly in the bosque, the levels of the different heavy metals, including cadmium, nickel, cadmium, lead, barium, chromates, aluminum, cobalt, and arsenic. They has in the bosque is nothing, just a little bit arsenic. But when you see the values in the ladrillera, we have a high condition that are out of the levels for barium, for chromates, even arsenic. Then with this, we demonstrate two things. The first one was the physicochemical condition. The salts were affected or at least seems to be different in the ladrilleras, and the concentration of heavy metals in the soil are even showing a huge concentration of some of the heavy metals that are critical for the health in the people around. The second part that we were doing with the soil was to identify the microbiologic diversity. We were trying to identify by one side how was the microbial population, and the second one trying to identify if there are some organisms that could help us or give us a clue about what happened with the people around related in disease. The thing that we have, those are in the left, the column of the genera of the different microorganisms, and the other one is the position that we found. We found that at least 3 genera, Alternaria, Aspergillus, and Caldosporium, were present in the ladrillera, Aspergillus in both of the ecosystems. But the problem here was that they were related. When we were looking in the literature, we found that they were responsible for some kind of disease or in humans, such as asthma, bronchitis, lung infections, allergy, and they could explain a little bit why the people that used to work and maybe the people that live around these ladrilleras will be presenting some of these symptoms that will, after all, be for develop some other kind of disease. Then we found some biomarker that could help us about to develop maybe system for avoid or develop some treatment for this kind of disease. We were looking about the diversity, the entomological diversity, trying to find if we found some other marker. We found more or less 25 different species. There is a more clear picture about how was the diversity in the bosque against the ladrilleras. We did not identify, or we don't know identify to now, if there is any particular of these insects that could help us to establish some kind of marker. Just find the difference in the biodiversity. We were doing the same with the plants. Actually, we were classifying, identify the plants and put as a collection. And then we identified also and a higher plant diversity in the bosque than the ladrilleras. But here I want to call your attention. We found two different species, Persicaria and Acaciela, as very abundant in the bosque. Then we, in this moment, decide to try those species that were very abundant in the bosque will be helped for to do this work in plant bioremediation. Then we were trying the plants growing in the soil directly from the ladrilleras, and we found that Acaciela could be one of these candidates because when we were doing the germination on the soil, that it, as show you, was full of heavy metal materials, they could have germinated in different concentration of the soils at 10, 25, and 50% contaminated soil with a 100% of germination. This plant is very important because basically this plant was very abundant here. This plant is originally from this area. However, the seeds that this plant used to produce is used for the tannery industry because it helps to fix the colors in the leather. Then it was a problem because the tannery or the leather industry used to exploit a lot this plant, and that become an endangered species. Then we decided that it was a very good plant candidate for the remediation because it could help by two other reasons. One is because it has the properties for remediation. The second one is that we can grow the plant and regrow the plant in order that we can save it for the endangered condition. Actually, by this suggestion, right now the municipality includes this plant in one of the plans for the New Year's for the planting in several gardens around the city. And the other one is, this is a plant that will help to fix nitrogen in a natural way. Then it could help to establish some other plants in the different spaces for the city, or in these cases, if there is a special garden, could be helpful for the localization of the new ladrilleras. Then we were able to grow very well, 100% of the germination, and to get juvenile plants that could be helped to be transplanted to some other places. Then to now, we already do the monitoring of the condition of the brickyards and the forest in El Valladito. The data shows that some changes in the structure, physiological structure of the soil and biodiversity in the brickyard area that is less biodiversity, and it has several negative conditions. And the other one is that we are trying to find some plant that we already found that as a candidate. So now we are trying to characterize how is the way that they used to do this capacity. Then, and we are now the new government, as you know, we have a new president, a woman, Claudia Sheinbaum, and they published the new strategies for development of science and technology in the country. One of these plans include the National Program for Protection of the Environment, and this includes the care of the forest, the water, the air quality, and trying to alleviate or well doing the remediation of these conditions. Then, and that includes all the system from the universities. With this in mind, we were working. And, in Mexico, we have some, in Latin America, we have some kind of meeting that is called Encuentro de Investigadores Lasallistas. That means like an international congress of lasallist researchers. And in the sixth one, we were trying to get together with the Universidad La Salle from Mexico City. They have a huge experience in environmental chemistry. We used to have the experience in microbiology. And then we were trying to get together in order to develop some kind of strategy, maybe a network related to the environment. This Mexican consortium that we call like that it has 20 researchers from both of the university, and the specialty areas, as you can see, is very, very, very great. It comes from environmental science to metagenomics, even going from animal physiology and molecular biology. Then we are trying to do a very strong group in research in order that we can help to alleviate these problems for the environment in Mexico City. The projects that we have, they are three mainly. One is to develop a transdisciplinary system for diagnosis, monitoring, and environmental remediation from different points of view, including social, economic, and health. The other one is medical treatment through bioengineering and intelligent systems. That is a very strong group that we have over there. And the other one that we are trying to talk with you guys here is the One Health, that includes diagnosis, detection of disease in humans, animals, and transmission, not just from biological agents, even from chemical or someone else. We believe that if we can get together, we will have very strong resources, even from the equipment, even from material, even from human resources. Then, this is all for me. I'm very happy. If you have any question, and I can answer now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hernandez, for providing a background about your country, Mexico, and also León, Guanajuato, and the effects of brick kiln in that area. So thank you so much. So let's give a round of applause to Dr. Hernandez. Okay, we now move on to our question and answer. We have a few posted in our chat box. Let's entertain first the question of Omakanta Mishra, and he asked how and what products or items used so that the pollution can be reduced during burning in the bricks.
Well, the question could be we are trying to do several actions, not just one main product to avoid or diminishing the pollution. Directly for the diminishing the pollution could be using plants or microbes that they are already some strategies that have been tested in some other kind of soils that could help. This is why we are trying to characterize first all the individuals that are present. But we believe that the diminishing the pollution, it has some other aspects to do. For example, something that I didn't tell was that the regulation for construction in Mexico, in the norma that we call, is included the red brick as a base. There are no other materials allowed to use for the construction. Then we believe that we must change a little bit in order that they can allow some other kind of materials. The other one is about the fuel. This is what we were talking about. In the regulation, it says that we have to use wood very fresh with no contamination with any kind of chemical materials. We are proposing that there are right now some material, some artificial, that could be produced for some other one, and they can be used like a synthetic material for the food that is less contaminated material with less contamination. And the other one that we believe is very clear could be to change a little bit the mentality of the people that used to work. How is difficult that? As I told you, the people who is operating right now these brick factories, the father was working even with the same thing, the grandfather, the grandfather. We need to change a little bit this change of thing, offering some other kind of options. But it's gonna be difficult because you know what? How many bricks you can cook in one of the on the burn? The small producer used to cook 8,000 of these materials. How much this cost? The lowest price is 1 peso. Then if they cook 8,000, they have 8,000 pesos. If they cook this for 4 weeks, they will have 3,000, 32,000 Mexican pesos. That is a huge of money. Then we have to change a little bit and convince them to include some other technologies and then change the rules for to do the work. I think those are the main things to attend.
Thank you for sharing those drivers. We have a direct message question here, and allow me to read this. First and foremost, number one, considering the environmental challenges posed by brick kilns in León, Guanajuato, including soil and air contamination, is there still potential for agriculture or other sustainable land uses in the area?
Okay. Right now, after the people is moving from these areas when finish this activity, the answer is not able for to do right now agriculture. Actually, one of the projects derivated from this brick project is trying to analyze how is the status of the agricultural land in order that we can compare and try to do some suggestions about the use of this kind of soils, second use, whatever that means. But in the first time, it's going to be hard to have a second activity. What to do? First, try to do some kind of evaluation, this remediation, and then suggest some other kind of activity.
Thank you for that, Dr. Hernandez. A follow-up question relevant to that. What strategies could be implemented to revitalize the land for agricultural purposes while addressing the pollution?
In this case, the strategy in all the cases is going to be to try to get the condition suggested by the regulation, because it has shown first levels of different materials, levels of different elements, and we are including always the condition of the microorganisms. We know some examples around here that some lands that have been using exclusively for agriculture, and the status of this is that change a lot the condition of the microorganisms. And some companies, right now companies that are doing this metagenomic analysis, they found which is the microorganism that is missing, and they are just doing this complementation. Maybe those are the things that we need to check before to suggest to work in any of activity, to check the physicochemical and to check how is the microbiology in order that we can do some kind of restoration and a very good work to do with this.
Definitely, those restoration activities are significantly important. However, we have another question coming from Gabriel Angelo Rubia. It's more of a comment and perhaps a clarification. So he mentions the proposed strategies for cleaner fuel materials and more efficient brick production technologies are crucial. it might also be worth considering the potential for green technologies to benefit not just the brick industry, but also support sustainable agriculture practices in the region. Can you comment on this, Dr. Hernandez?
Yes, actually, the proposal that we are doing for the new new politics in the government in the municipality is trying to consider an open program. We know this is the plan for the municipality is to build, huge spaces where they can move all these people that is working, trying to build a huge these kilns that they can be using for some people. We believe that could be good stay there, but maybe must be including some other activities that could alleviate some other part of the ecosystem. And even, for example, with this plant that we found, the Casiela, we believe that it could be, they can grow in a small forest or something. They can get some of these full materials because the wood is very good for it results very good for the cooking of these bricks, and even including some other plants that can alleviate all around, and they can improve and do the remediation of some of the other soils that could be right now using for the kilns. Then for sure there must be a more integrated plan. Right now we are sure that with the inclusion of people and researchers of the Mexico City, we will have some other experience. They have experience, for example, in treatment of the soils with hydrocarbons treated with microorganisms. Then we believe that we can develop a plan together with plants, microorganisms, and some other activities in order to establish the condition of all these soils.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Hernandez. I think that's all the time that we have for today. So I would like to invite our participants to give a round of applause to our speaker, Dr. Andres Cruz Hernandez. So again, thank you so much. It's an honor for having you today, and we look forward to the success of your project.
No, thank you very much. Thank you very much for all guys for to be here in the morning over there, in the night here in Mexico.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, I think that is the end of our session for today. And again, we would like to get your feedback about our delivery of the LaSalle Sustainability Lecture through the QR code shown in the slide here, or even the link provided. So we would appreciate your feedback so that we can further improve the delivery of this lecture series. So I guess that would be Dr. K this would be the last lecture for this year. And so with that, we wish you happy holidays and happy new year. And we look forward to a great 2025. We hope to see you soon. Any announcement for the next lecture series would be posted online. So again, thank you so much. Again, I'm Dr. Ari Sobando from the Gokongwei College of Engineering, De La Salle University, Philippines. Bye,